And some of them make good money and some of them don't. And that's okay. And the reason I keep writing books and the reason I keep having ideas is not because I'm smart. It's not because I'm somehow more creative than other people. It's because I'm surrounding myself with people who fill me up, give me energy, and give me ideas.
But it's more than that, because it's got to be more than that, because you're someone who is so remarkably good at articulation and ideas and thinking through first principles and really coming up with original perspectives on things. One of the things I've always really wanted to ask you is how? What is the process? Where does the inspiration come from? Where does that come from? If people are sat there, creative people, or they just want to advance their own knowledge, they want to be wise like you are.
Yeah.
What would you recommend they did?
So, and you talk about first principles. First of all, I hate the term first principles. It's so condescending, right? Let's just call it beginner's mindset, right? Because that's what you are. You're basically pretending that you're a beginner and you know nothing. Or what I like to call it, it's a student mindset. I'm not an expert, I'm a student. I've always viewed myself as a student, right? And so my favorite people are the ones who ask the questions that other people are embarrassed to ask because they don't want to be seen as dumb. Students, if you're in a classroom, nobody minds raising their hand and asking the teacher, how does that work? Because we're the students. Mm-hmm. So I treat myself as a student in every meeting. I don't mind asking the questions that I don't know the answers to, even if it makes me look like a fool. I don't mind saying, I don't understand that. I never try and be an expert in somebody else's business. They're the expert in their business. And so when you say, like, where does the first principles come from? Where does the beginner's mindset? I'm not curious about everything. I'm curious about the things that I'm curious about. And I ask a ton of questions, and I don't mind not knowing answers. I have strong opinions loosely held, Somebody just told me the other day one of the things they liked about me, which is, like, I'll come out swinging and I will argue hard for something. But the minute you give me a good argument or a piece of evidence that proves me wrong, I'm like, yep, you're totally right. I'm completely, like, again, strong opinions loosely held, right?
Is there a practice though?
This is an impossible line of thinking, right? And I'll tell you why. That's like me asking Michael Jordan, how do I become a great basketball player? It's like, well, you need some natural capacity. Like, I'm way too short, so I lost that one. And I can work my brains out, but I don't have any talent whatsoever. So work ethic is definitely part of it. And I can follow all of Michael Jordan's, routines. And there's no chance, zero, that I will become a great basketball player. Not to mention the fact that he started when he was a kid and I didn't, right? So I think that, people come up to me sometimes and say, I want to be a public speaker. How do I get into the business? I'm like, well, what do you want to talk about? They're like, I don't know yet. I'm like, no, you've completely missed the point. Like, I never wanted to be a public speaker. I just had a thing that I wanted to talk about, right? And so you have to have a passion for something, and then you figure out a way to bring it to life. You either become an entrepreneur, or you bring it to life in a corporate environment, or you find a thing, and then you find the way to bring that thing to life. So number one is, like, I don't think somebody can just choose to become me like they can't choose to become you. Are there things that you could practice that I've learned that will help you hone some particular skill set?